Where do you go when you know what's right and you think all day into the night? Lying in bed, I got things to do, so I put on my shirt, put on my shoes. Who's gonna save you now? When did we stop thinking for ourselves and lose our sight? Who gave them jurisdiction to deny inherent rights? Long ago, people died so you could have a choice. Today, they're not accountable. Have you lost your voice? Where do you go when you know what's right and you think all day into the night? Lying in bed, I got things to do, so put on my shirt, put on my shoes. Who's gonna save you now? Who's got money? Not enough. We're sorry that it's so tough. Who's got money? Lots to spare, but no one really seems to care. Where do you go when you know what's right and you think all day into the night? Lying in bed, I got things to do, so put on my shirt, put on my shoes. Who's gonna save you now? I drive my car, I always see people living just like me, but no one seems to know, I'm told, how to stop from getting old. Who's gonna save you now? Who's gonna save you now? All right, freedom people. Woo! Good to see you all out here. We're going to be getting started in just a couple of minutes or so here. I'd like to sing a song to kind of introduce what we're doing. It's a song about champions. It's a song about goodness. It's a song about love and what it takes to be a champion. Today we're going to be honoring our heroes, our local heroes, of which there are many. In fact, probably most of you are among our heroes. And there's certain characteristics. Heroes and champions, they stand outside the crowd. They act with integrity. They think before they speak so that what comes out of their mouth is what they mean to say. And if they say something that they didn't mean, they can take it back. But they mean what they say. They do not have hidden agendas. They do not try to force you or coerce you. Integrity is something very, very different from that. It's walking around as a real man, a real woman on the planet with the absolute integral right to be here, which we all have. We all have our own minds. We all have our own independent right to be here. So I'd like you to think about what the qualities are of a champion, which ones of those are present in you right now, right here today, and they were yesterday, and which ones of these qualities you want to improve and make more of in your life, starting today, starting tomorrow. What areas can you become a better champion, a better person, higher integrity, more honorable? And believe me, it's well worth that journey. It's such a rich journey. If you want to be a champion, you gotta be free. If you wanna fight truth and justice, you gotta be kind. You've got to stand outside the crowd. Let your integrity shout loud. You've you've got to mean just what you say. Dedication will show you the way. Well, Nelson was a man who liked to lend a hand to just about everyone he'd meet. He'd try to sit you down at a coffee shop in town and take the whole world off your feet. He was a grandpa, a husband, and a daddy. He'd fish for hours on the lake. His name was Nelson Meikle. He's a champion of the people. He did it all for goodness sake. Well, if something wasn't right and it came in Nelson's sight, the bulldog would step up to the plate. He'd stand up to the law, exposing every flaw. He'd soothe them with a smile upon his face. He was a grandpa, a husband, and a daddy. He'd fish for hours on the lake. His name was Nelson Meikle. He's a champion of the people. He did it all for goodness sake. Our world is full of people who think they're only sheeple. They do whatever they've been told. Well, it's time to stop our fighting. Let's get it down in writing to liquidate the lies we've all been told. He was a grandpa, a husband, and a daddy. He'd fish for hours on the lake. His name was Nelson Meikle. He's a champion of the people. He did it all for goodness sake. He did it all for goodness sake. All right. Woo! Yeah, we need our heroes, and fortunately, we have lots of them among us here today because I can see many of you and your beautiful smiling faces. All right. My name is Jacqueline Rose, and I'm a member of Stand Up Vernon, as probably many of you are. And today we're gathered here for the 1-year anniversary of the creation of Stand Up Vernon. So let's give us all of ourselves a great big hand for what that is and what that means. And I'm going to tell you what Vernon means in this case. Vernon means people from Penticton and Kelowna and Kamloops and the Kootenays and Enderby and the Shuswap and Armstrong and Vernon. It's people from the west side, from the east side. Anybody who's coming together as a part of this community. That's what we are. We're not a physical location. Stand Up Vernon is a community of people, of activists, of people who want to be free and stand for freedom and help build a whole new system that serves us all better. Today we are recognizing our local heroes. We're going to have a series of them up here sharing the projects that they've been working on with you. Some of the things our heroes have been doing is they've stood up to school boards. They have rallies at the MLA's office. They're filing human rights complaints. They're supporting healthcare workers, educating retail business owners. Anyone done that lately? Educate the retail business owners. This is a big move, and it's helping all of us. They distribute druthers and other information to apartments and workplaces to educate friends, coworkers, families, and others, and to encourage people to question what's going on. These are our heroes, a dedicated army of quiet volunteers. Very powerful, my friends, very powerful. You're going to meet some of us here today. So please, right now, turn to somebody sitting near you that you don't know and say hello. Say hello to some of our local heroes. Say hello, meet new people. People of the same community that you are a part of. You know, some people say that we are in a battle right now. A battle between good and evil. I've heard a lot of people describe it like that. Evil wants to control your activities, your thoughts, and force your decisions. Goodness wants to serve, honor, provide for, and celebrate you as the unique man or woman that you are. You are a gift to this planet. There is no one else like you. The gifts that you have are absolutely, utterly unique. Goodness demands nothing of you, but that you do no harm as you meander your way through life. Goodness doubles and triples in your life as you follow this path, as you dedicate yourself to caring for and helping others. Ask any of our local heroes here if it's true, because you're going to meet them today. You test this out. If what is going on in the world right now, worldwide, is a battle between good and evil, then what is your primary offense against this onslaught of evil into your personal life? And believe me, folks, it's very personal, isn't it? What's your primary offense against this? If we magnify goodness in our lives, will this boost your immune system? Is a healthy immune system important, especially today when we're under tremendous pressure to inject a substance inside our bodies that manufactures foreign proteins? I submit to you that our shield against this onslaught is our power, not force. Our power is our power to choose moment by moment. You choose goodness and freedom. You choose force and evil. Free will is our highest ability, gifted to each one of us at birth. This is where your power lies, my friends, in your ability to choose your reactions, to choose your feelings, to choose your thoughts, your priorities. And as you do this, the more you become conscious of your ability to choose, take a breath before you answer, take a breath before you say something, take a breath before you make the decision. Just that long enough to remember, oh, that's right, I have a choice. This is how we become more free. Every time you choose more consciously, you become more free in your lives. This is an opportunity to choose love, to love yourself and love the freedoms of your fellow man. As we do this together, our community grows more powerful, more loving, more accountable, more respectful to both ourselves and to others. Respect is the bottom line, the key to all of this, is respecting ourselves, and then we can respect others. Love yourself, and then you can love others. Because then you know what love is. You know what it feels like. Our ability to choose, to self-educate, to reflect, to ponder, to come to decisions is our power to live as a free man or free woman. Our first presenter today is someone that you all know and many of us love very, very much for her courage, tenacity, strength, creativity, patience, and endurance. She's not going to come on stage until I call her, though. She is both joyful and humble, two of the qualities of freedom and respect. To introduce her, I present you with a song called The Choice that I wrote for and dedicate to the community that is Stand Up Vernon. You got a 1, a 2, a 3, and 4. You got a 5, 6, 7, and more. Every day's a new day to begin. Oh, can you love your brother true and still do what is best for you? Does respect come from inside? They tell us that we're black or white. Religion's always been a fight. Can we bridge this great divide? It's up to you, my friends. Oh, everything you see is a part of you and a part of me. Oh, who's gonna stand up? Who's gonna stand up? Stand up for our right to live. Helping yourself and helping another. Is there more that we can give? We are all collecting stuff. Will we ever have enough? What if everyone is unique? Corporations are all dead. Could we each be free instead? Does our earth belong to the meek? It's up to you, my friend. Everything you see is a part of you and a part of me. Who's gonna stand up? Who's gonna stand up? Stand up for our right to live. Helping yourself and helping another. Is there more that we can give? You are a part of me. We are all connected, don't you see? You choose love or fear, right or wrong, can you see the light? Can you be strong? Are you owned or are you free? Pollution is catastrophe. Can you speak truth with your voice? Feeling bad or feeling good? Are you doing what you should? Every day you're making the choice. It's up to you, my friend. Everything you see is a part of you and a part of me. Who's gonna stand up? Who's gonna stand up? Stand up for our right to live. Helping yourself and helping another. Is there more that we can give? Who's gonna stand up? Who's gonna stand up? Stand up for our right to live. Helping yourself and helping another. Is there more that we can give? Who's gonna stand up? Who's gonna stand up? Stand up for our right to live. Who's gonna stand up? Who's gonna stand up? Who's gonna stand up for you? Woohoo! All right, and with that, Heather Hilland. Give her a big hand, you guys. A big hand. She so deserves it. Woohoo!
Welcome, everybody. If we can get everybody kind of move to the middle, it'd be great, and huddle up together, that'd be awesome. I'm glad we didn't get rain today. I was kind of half expecting it, so this is really, again, I think we're blessed. For most times when we have our rallies, we seem to be blessed with good weather. I just wanted to say a shout out quickly to 3 businesses that have contributed to today's rally. In particular, Blends North. It's the one down on Anderson Way. They actually donated the coffee. He wasn't able to source any hot chocolate, so my husband and I were scrambling at 10 o'clock this morning, 10:30 this morning, to make hot chocolate and green tea. So he ran down to Firmco to grab those extra pot things, and anyways, now I know you can rent those. Who knew? Elisa's Printopia, she is, I don't know if she's here, but she said she was going to start standing up with us. She does not discriminate in her store. She does a lot of printing for us. I give her a lot of work. She gets it done quickly, and she's just such a great supporter of our movement. And she said she's going to start coming and standing on the street with us because she figures that if she does it, then maybe some other business owners will do it as well. So I look forward to that. Also, Firmco Rentals, that's where we got the balloons from and the coffee containers, etc. And they're always a big help. I rented a tent. I was thinking we might need it, but actually we don't need it. So again, thank whoever's in charge. And again, all of these businesses, they welcome, I call it naked faces, and they don't discriminate. So there are a few more businesses. If you don't already know about them, you can walk in and don't have to worry about being harassed. So I wanted to make some announcements. Next Sunday, we're having our first ever worldwide Rally for Freedom. And we have the honor and privilege to have John Carpay, who is the president of the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, Ted Kuntz, the president of Vaccine Choice Canada, Priscilla Valil from Unmask Our Kids Action for Canada School and Parent Program, and Sherry Roy, who is also here today, who's the chapter leader for the Armstrong chapter of Action for Canada. And then we'll have two of our youngest freedom fighters from Salmon Arm, Ethan and Trent, will be here to tell you some of their stories. Darlene Ondi, who is an activist in the Okanagan, she's a co-host of Mad Watcher TV and the Ondi Condi Show. She's going to be our guest MC for the afternoon. So save the date, bring your friends, and let's give all of our presenters a warm welcome to Vernon next weekend. We'll start the rally on the street the same as we did today, and then we'll come over to the band shell. It's nice and quiet over here. We get a lot of support on the street, but when we're trying to talk and hear speakers, this is kind of the spot. And we got this beautiful facility. We're using it free of charge. The city never bothers us here, so why not? Fight the Fines. Have you guys heard of those guys? Rebel News. So I'm just going to read you an email that my husband got this week, and then I'll tell you the backstory. Good afternoon, Mr. Iverson. A stay of proceedings has been entered for your violation ticket. A stay of proceedings ends the prosecution against you so that the matter is at end. As this completes our involvement in this matter, we will attend to closing your file. Thank you for allowing our firm the opportunity to assist you in this matter. So his fine of $5,750 for refusing to stay at a COVID hotel when he returned to Canada from South Africa in June, that's what it was for. His hearing was scheduled for last Friday, November the 5th, in Vancouver, but we didn't have to go because the lawyer that was hired by Rebel News went in our place. To continue the cause, to help others fight their fines, my husband, Stephen, has donated $5,000 to Rebel News. And he's all back there doing security. So a little bit of community goodwill. If you are on my email list, you got an email about the family that we're supporting today. There's a family of 6 that lost their business. So for the short term, we're helping them buy groceries and pay some of their utilities. If you can help out, there's a donation table right over here at the front. If you don't have cash, you can do an e-transfer. They'll give you information on that. Gift cards, groceries, and whatever you can manage. And at the information tables, we have Sherry Roy for Action for Canada in Armstrong, and we have Genevieve, who is the Action for Canada representative for Vernon. And there actually are Action for Canada chapters popping up all over the Okanagan, so eventually we'll get to meet them all. And then I'll be over at the vaccine choice table after I'm finished talking here. If you want to sign up for our rallies, if you're not already on the list, please come and see me. Okay, so now to the reason I'm here. I just wanted to say, if you're not aware, this time last year, it was November the 15th, it was a Sunday, David Lindsay helped Vernon launch its first rally. He was our guest speaker. He came to launch us on a Sunday because, of course, he runs the rallies in Kelowna every Saturday, and he still continues to do so. He's been doing the rallies in Kelowna since about March of 2020. So he's without fail. He's been every weekend. So he launched Salmon Arm the week before us, and then he launched us, and then he launched Penticton, and then he launched Kamloops. And all but Salmon Arm. Salmon Arm comes and goes. They're not officially doing rallies, but they're still doing a lot of action. They're not necessarily doing it every Saturday, but Kyle Cardinal, if you know him, he's He's a big activist and a freedom fighter. Our first rally, I think we had about 60 people, and then we grew up to about 85, and then we hit the 100 mark, and it's been fluctuating up and down ever since. The RCMP have come a few times, but except for one occasion, they only came when they had a complaint that was a traffic complaint or something legitimate, and other than that, they've left us alone. They recognize that we have a right to freedom of association, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, and freedom of religion. So they do respect that. I have to give the RCMP credit and Vernon for that. And we do get unwanted visitors from time to time, and if we call them, they come right away. So overall, it's been great connections, great community, lots of fun. And, however, we know it takes a village, and as Jackie said, over the past year, I have been blessed to have many hands and minds helping keep this freedom bus running smoothly. And today I would like to acknowledge some of the many, many volunteers. These warriors have shared their musical talent, their artistic talent, their cooking and baking skills at potlucks and picnics. They have helped set up, take down the stage, the rally banners, and the signs at the fountain, to pack tables and chairs, to put up posters around town, to spread the word to friends and neighbors. They have joined in many convoys to Kelowna, Kamloops, Salmon Arm, and Vancouver. They have gone shopping maskless, delivered Druthers Common Grounds newspapers, made calls to recruit volunteers, or showed up at meetings. They have petitioned to stop vaccines in schools, to stop 5G towers in Vernon, have served notices of liability to the city and School District 22. Some have spoken on the stage, and others have shared their message in private. Regardless of the level of participation, we have done this together. We are united in freedom and acting out of love for our fellow humans. If you hear your name, please wave so we can all see you. The list is long, so please hold your applause until the end. So starting with today, we have Renee, where is he hiding? Renee, Dan, Jackie, and then they're doing the stage. Dave and Karen, they always bring the music for the rallies. The setup crew and security, of course. My husband is always here to help with that. Attila, he comes and helps us set up tents. Lee was here today. Sherry, Jackie, etc. And of course our speakers for today, Bobby, Sibylla, Darren R., Darren S., Jan, and Roland. Speakers from the past, we've had David Lindsay, Ted Kuntz, Sherry, Roy, Beatrice, Weir, Bettina Engler, Marcella, Vlad, Taylor, Patrick, and Savannah. Patrick and Savannah used to be big warriors in our group, but they've moved back to Ecuador. Maxime Bernier, Mark Friesen, Sean Taylor, and Kyle Delphing. Our graphics, arts, and logo design, and she's also the fastest sign maker in town. She can whip up a rally sign in like seconds. Laurel, wave. She's our graphics artist. She's responsible for the Stand Up Vernon logo and all of these beautiful posters up the front here. And our protest signs and poster crews, we've had April, Erica, Sylvia, Sibylla, Tana, Jolie, Tracy, and probably a few people I've forgotten, and I apologize. Musical talent and technical expertise, Chris Madsen, Stuart Hasten, Grant Waldman, and Glenn from The Voice of the West. Druthers and Common Grounds, Tal and Brenda, Janet and Wayne, Tana, Marina, Sylvia, Dan, Daniela, and Vicky. Phone volunteers, Mark, Bonnie, Hilda, and Tracy. Vaccine clinic protesters that came and stood with me at the vaccine clinics. Kinga, Trevor, Sylvia, Sherry, and Carl. Human rights posters. He's not here today. Emil Shelburne spent a whole lot of time going around to businesses. He went to several hundred businesses to try to get them to honor our mask exemptions. And also Renee, I believe, went with him. And Beatrice and several others. The notices of liability served to the city and the school district. Randy, Darren, Denise, Dan, Tal, and Brenda. The MLA rallies and other shenanigans. Jolie, Dave and Karen, Bob, Sherry and Carl. Maskless shopping, Donna, Joan, and Bev. And I think a couple of our eldest and very loyal rally supporters that are here every week is Bob, Bob, and Pat. They're always here. Every Saturday they are here. So they deserve credit because they're here every week. No excuses. And all of us are much younger. So honestly, we need more of the younger group. Every age. Get your kids to come out, your friends, your neighbors, everybody. We want all age groups here. And some of the out-of-town support that we've had for our convoys, etc. Kyle Cardinal, he's with the Truth Matters in Salmon Arm. Sarah B. and Lou from the Resistance in Kelowna. Fran Kovacs from Vaccine Choice Canada, Kelowna. Darlene Onde, as I've mentioned before. Vicky and Bruce from Vaccine Choice Canada, as well as Tom Kuntz, Ted's brother. And to anyone who have missed, I really apologize. You are noticed. You are appreciated. You are part of our freedom community, and we love you. Please give a round now of applause to celebrate each other for all that we all do every day. So now I have the honor and the privilege to introduce to you our next speaker, our first official speaker of the day. She's a wife. She's a mother to her son Adam, whom she is proud to say is unvaccinated since birth. She works at a national organization supporting people with vision loss. She has lived since childhood with vision loss due to optic nerve atrophy, which went undiagnosed until her early 20s, where her vision worsened after being vaccinated. She suffered further vision loss after being treated for cervical cancer. She describes herself as someone who jumps in with both feet. Her many acts of daring include paragliding, driving a race car as part of the Blind Behind the Wheel initiative, and she is known for a few wild tobogganing adventures. I met Bobby in 2019 at a women's retreat, and I am honored to call her a friend. She is a fearless warrior for truth and a fierce mama bear. Today, she is sharing another story of courage about her son's experience in the public school system. This took place pre-COVID in February 2020. It's important for all of us in the community to understand where things are headed if we do not pay attention and take action to make it stop. Please welcome Bobby Ware.
Right there. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Heather, for inviting me today. It is such an honor to be here and to already have met.
Get as close as you can.
Oh, I don't want to hit my face on it. Okay.
There we go.
Thank you. Thank you, Heather, for inviting me to speak here today. It's been a real honor already meeting and connecting with so many beautiful people. I stand here in this moment wanting to share with you from my heart something that shattered me and my family. But when I look back upon it, it was such an incredible gift. I believe that the universe gives us messages in the most mysterious ways, and we have the choice whether we listen to them or not. It was February 27th, 2020. And I was at work at my very busy job in meetings, and my phone was ringing, and it was my husband. And me leading that meeting, I could not stop to take the call. When I did have time to phone him, my heart was broken wide open. The guilt, the shame, and the fear that I was experiencing in that moment was incredible. That morning, my then 15-year-old son said to me, "Mom, They're doing vaccinations at the school today, and I don't want to go. And I overrode his intuition, saying, they cannot do anything to you. So I forced him to go to school. And around 9:45, 10 o'clock that morning, he placed a call to my husband saying, they are trying to force me to do something against my will here. So I met my husband at the high school in West Kelowna, and we went into the school, to the gym where they were vaccinating the students. I said to the nurse in charge, my son was forced to sign a document that you placed in front of him, and I want to see what that was. And she tried to push us off, and as Heather said, I was not a happy camper. I kept my cool because I knew I was not going to go in there and fight fire with fire. I told her that I would stand and wait until she delivered the paper for me. And wait we did. I was informed that she had 1,200 students to vaccinate and that she didn't have time to go find this piece of paper. So the story before that, which fills my heart with joy and helped me to see how my son, who I often say has donkey ears and donkey tail, his strength that he pulled from within that day was incredible. His story was that he was sitting in class, and his class was called down to get immunized. And he stood up and said to the teacher, I'm not going because I am not getting vaccinated. And his teacher said, you have to go anyway and tell the nurse this. So he went. They're lined up outside of the gym. He walked to the front and he said to the nurse, I'm not getting vaccinated, so I'm not going to stay. And she said, get back in line and I will talk to you later. So my son is very quiet and very gentle, and he started to get scared. He said from that point on, he was treated as though he was a criminal and he had done something wrong. She gave him a piece of paper and told him he needed to go sit at one of the stations in the gym. And from his recollection, there was about 12 of them, where they were filing the children in, sitting them down in these stations, and injecting them with the vaccines that they needed to catch up or get up to date. So there was no privacy and no dignity for the children in any way, shape, or form. Adam was called in, and he refused to sit down at the station. He said to the nurse, I'm not getting vaccinated, and I will not sit down. So the back and forth went there for a little while, and he said, I'm not sitting. She took him over to a table at the side of the gym and put a piece of paper in front of him and said, you're not leaving here until you sign this. The eye condition that I have been gifted with in this lifetime is hereditary, and my son has it. Not to the degree that I do, but to the degree where he could not read the print that was on the paper. So he signed something that he never read. I did place a 911 call to Heather on my way to the high school that day, and she said, get that piece of paper back. Whatever you do, get it back. I waited probably with my husband for a half an hour, and I always get a little turned off by people who what I say, play their blind card. But that day I played mine. She wanted us to just flip over and look at the paper quickly, and she was waiting for it back. And I said, I need to know what this says, and I can't read it. My husband says, I need to read this to her. So we very slowly went through that piece of paper until she got frustrated with us and left. And at that point, I put it in my pocket, and we left the high school. She did chase us out. As soon as we were leaving the main entrance, she was coming behind us, and we just kept going. But I will tell you that the paper that he was forced to sign said that he understood that his decision to not get vaccinated that day was putting him at risk, and that he did understand the health benefits of the vaccine and was choosing not to get it. Why my heart was broken open that day was because the list of the vaccines that they were going to give my son, who has never been vaccinated, was lengthy. There was at least 8 of them from what I can remember. So I went into a little bit of a victim mentality and a lot of anger with the school. I trusted the school. When I sent my child there, I expected him to be cared for and protected. And there was the message that was being delivered loud and clear to me from the universe that day. He is not being protected by the very system that I thought he was being protected by. So when March 17th rolled around and we went into lockdown, I knew with every ounce of my being that something was wrong. And in June, when they opened the schools back up, my son over my dead body was returning back. And he has not returned back to school to this day, because I know he is safe in my home. The other thing that I wanted to mention is how important I felt it was for me to always be speaking to my son about vaccines, what I knew about them and what I was learning about them, and how his body did not need them to be healthy. He has spent his lifetime going through school, seeing the children getting vaccinated, seeing them getting sick afterwards, and him staying healthy. Thank you very much for your time and your attention today, from my heart to yours.
All right. We'll say thank you to Bobby. That takes a lot of courage to come up and share that right from the heart, eh? Bobby, that's what I said. I said, Bobby, I wish you'd listen better, Heather. My goodness. Do we have to go through this again? All right, we're going to do a song here. I told you that we're here for love. And just remember, love is the most powerful force there is in the universe. It is the most powerful. It's what gives birth to us, what makes the seeds grow and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very powerful. And you know, if you've ever been in a conflict and you're trying to use love rather than force, remember the two different things, evil and good. Love takes a lot more strength, doesn't it? It's easy to get mad at someone. It's easy to yell. And for those of you who are violence, tend toward violence, it's easy to hit someone. The loving stuff is a lot harder. So that's what we're doing here, and it's working, folks. So please join me in this song. I could just sit around making music all day long, 'cause as long as I'm making music, you know I can't do nobody wrong. So clap, and who knows, maybe someday I'll come up with a song that'll make people want to stop their fussing and fighting long enough to sing along. Everybody sing, I believe in music. Oh, I believe in love. Well, music is love, and love is music, if you know what I mean. The people who believe in music are the happiest people I've ever seen. So clap your hands and stomp your feet and shake your tambourine. Lift your voices to the sky, 'cause God loves you when you sing. Everybody sing, I believe in music. That's it. Oh, I believe in love. Oh, I believe in music. Oh, I believe in love. Well, music is the universal language. Love is the key to brotherhood and peace and understanding and living in harmony. So take your brother by the hand and come along with me and find out what it really means to be young and rich and free. Everybody sing, I believe in music. Whoa, whoa, I believe in love. Oh, I believe in music. Oh, I believe in love. One more. I believe in music. Oh, I believe in love. I believe in love. All right. Good job. Good job. I can hear you. All right. Our next speaker is Sibylla. She's a member of Stand Up Vernon, and we're welcoming her to the stage. And she's got a little story to tell you. She's a freedom fighter who's going to tell you about how she exercised her rights to decline medical tyranny on a recent trip to Germany. And you thought it wasn't possible. Sibylla, where are you? She's coming, she's running. Get a move on. Somebody get a broker. All right, so who said it couldn't be done? Sibylla's going to tell you how to do it. Woo!
All right. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Hello, Vernon. How are you doing? So congratulations on the first anniversary of rallying and standing up. Congrats. Also, congratulations from Tana. We met this morning very briefly, and unfortunately she couldn't attend today. So she also extends her good wishes to the group. So before I speak, Heather invited me to speak on my experience on my recent trip. But before I'm doing that, I'm going off program. And Heather doesn't have a clue what's happening. So on behalf of all of us, we want to honor Heather for her efforts and the time she's putting in, and she's keeping us going for a year already, and the second year has started. So I would like to invite Heather to come up on stage, but also her spouse and partner, Stephen, because he usually stays in the background, but he also does tremendous work. So Heather and Stephen, can you please come up on stage? Whoops. Okay. So, on behalf of the group, Heather.
I just want to thank Sibylla too, because she last summer I had a health issue and I had to take a little break, and Sibylla and I honestly thought we were not going to have rallies, and so Sibylla picked up the ball and ran with it, and she kept our rallies going while I was away, and Tana helped her out as well. So this is what we do, right? We have a community and we all help each other. So thank you.
Okay, I just want to make it short and sweet. Everybody knows me, and the people who are here for the first time, I'm Sibylla, and I'm a freedom fighter. So Heather invited me to speak here on my on my international trip to Europe this summer. And I'm living proof that it is possible to travel without having the bioweapon injected and without wearing this breathing barrier. I left Canada at the end of July, and I did come back the second week of September. I had to go because there were health issues with my father, and I haven't been home in 12 years, so it was high time for me to travel. But in order to do that, I had to do some homework. And I will just fill you in briefly, and whoever's interested, whoever's planning a trip or so, we can speak afterwards, and I can definitely help and support you. So what I had to do, I used to live in Penticton for 30 years, so my family physician is down there, and I'm going to keep him. He's also a doctor from South Africa. So the first thing I got was a mask exemption letter, okay? Medical mask exemption letter from my doctor. Then, if you're planning to book a trip or something, I just want to inform you, every travel supplier or airline has a medical department. So you have to work with the medical department, and that's what I did. I talked to Air Canada, I talked to Lufthansa, I got in touch with their medical department, and they sent me mask exemption forms. So you as a passenger have to fill it in. That form goes to your doctor, and then it goes back to, in my case, Air Canada and Lufthansa. But I had to deal individually with each airline. So once that was granted, Air Canada really came through within a week and a half. Lufthansa took a little bit longer. I was granted to travel mask exempt as soon as I started my trip, and it was valid for round trip. So that meant boarding in Kelowna, my journey started, and I was mask exempt. In order to be accepted by the airlines at that point, you had to have a PCR test done. And that was organized through a company in Vancouver, and the testing site was at Kelowna Airport, and apparently it's still there. So I made the appointment, and within 48 to 72 hours before my departure, I had to have the PCR test done. But I asked questions. The PCR test was done under my terms, not their terms. So what I did, right at when I made the appointment on the phone, I asked questions, and the woman who worked with me at that point, she didn't have a clue. She said, you have to talk to the crew in Kelowna. So the day came, I flew on a Wednesday, Monday morning, 9 a.m., my appointment at Kelowna Airport, PCR test was scheduled, I was there. I started questions. I wanted to know which laboratory they're using. I wanted to know at what amplification they're getting their results, and I stated that I will plug my nose, and right in front of the nurse, I disinfected my nose, and they just swabbed me at the nasal entrance. That was my term. And I disinfected right after in front of that nurse. I couldn't care less what people think about me now, because my health, myself, comes first. So the test results came back negative, so I was ready to fly. Then Wednesday morning, checking into Kelowna Airport, like the attendant at the airport said, well, where's your mask? And I said, please open up my file, I'm mask exempt. So from that time onward, I was not bothered whatsoever. I also have to say I had all copies, whatever was granted to me in documentation. I had always a hard copy along wherever I traveled throughout those 6 weeks. So Kelowna, Vancouver, throughout the airport in Vancouver, I looked around. I was always the only one without a mask. Everybody was wearing these breathing barriers. And the Lufthansa flight, almost 400 people, passengers on that aircraft, I was the only one without this breathing barrier. And they checked constantly. There was a young gentleman actually from Enderby sitting right beside me, and as soon as he saw me that I don't wear one, he wanted to take his breathing barrier also off. But the flight attendants constantly checked and put on your mask, put on your mask. So the only time they were allowed to take off their mask was when they served food and you had to drink something, but right after they collected the trays and everybody had to put on the masks again. So arriving into Germany, no problem. I had another flight from Frankfurt into Nuremberg, which is very close to my hometown, and my brother was there, so I expected then that there would be a somewhat of a control for quarantining or anything. Nothing. I picked up my suitcases, I met my brother, and off we went. So no issues whatsoever. So whatever you hear on the media is propaganda. In reality, it looks totally different. Also, I want to state that throughout my 6 weeks in Germany and Europe, I did travel on high-speed trains into different countries and also no problems. There were situations where I had to stand up for myself, and I did, because I always had the documentation along, and I just know that it's possible. I'm free. For the return, I expected really a hassle arriving back into Vancouver, because at that time it was still that you had to quarantine maybe in a hotel or something. So I had lots of legal documents in hard copy along, and it wasn't bad at all. But Lufthansa, upon check-in in Munich, they held me for 2.5 hours. I was checking in, and I did get my boarding pass. I just want to share this incident with you. And all of a sudden, the person who checked me in said, "We don't find your mask exemption." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry, I've got it right here." I showed him my hard copy from Lufthansa, and he said, "Well, it's not in our system, so it doesn't matter if you show it to me or not." And I said, "Well, I flew over, and I flew 2 segments with Lufthansa, so it should be in your system." So they gave me trouble. They actually then put me into an office where I was held for 2.5 hours, and another young man worked with me. So I demanded that they would call head office in Frankfurt, Germany, and I demanded to speak myself with the lady I dealt with before I departed out of Canada. And that was granted to me. And so I talked to her, and she then said, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't help you any longer. I have to leave it up to my colleagues at the Munich airport," which showed me no one wanted to take on responsibility. No one wanted to do a decision. And so the one guy who checked me in, then he said, "I'm going to leave you now, and good luck to you." And the other guy said, "Well, you can't fly. You have to find a doctor here at the Munich airport, and you have to have a new mask exemption." And then he left me. So, you know what? I wasn't worried because I had my boarding pass. I said, "Thank you very much." I started going through security. I decided for myself what I want. So I went through security. I still had time until we boarded. And then by the time I came to the gate for my flight back to Vancouver, there were 3 Lufthansa employees, and they already waited for me. "Hey, Mrs. Bayer, did you get your mask exemption? Did you get your doctor's notice?" And I said, "No, I have one." And then they said, "Sorry, we can't honor that, and you are denied boarding the plane." Well, I had a choice, and I decided very quickly. I told them, "You cannot stop me as a Canadian citizen. You cannot deny me my flight home. I'm going to be on board of this aircraft, And if you cause any further problems, I'm going to get the Canadian consulate involved and the media. So what they did, those three people, those three Lufthansa employees, just, step back a little bit, discussed, and all of a sudden the gentleman came forward and he said, okay, it's fine with us, you can board the plane, but it's up to the flight crew if you're going to be transported or not. So for me, I was going in, I was already putting my carry-on luggage up above, and the purser came, and he said, Mrs. Byer, can we please have your PCR test and your mask exemption letter, which I had. And I gave it to them. He took it to the pilot, and the pilot, no time, welcome aboard, and I was ready to fly home. So it shows also, it really showed me several times throughout my trip, and it shows it daily, on a daily basis here. People in power cannot make any decisions anymore because there's constant change of rules and regulations, and no one knows anything anymore. So this teaches us you have to stand in your own power, you have to make decisions, and you know what? This is how we're gonna go. Like, I believe, like, we don't have a law anymore, like we the people are the law, okay? So I truly, thank you. I truly encourage everyone. I embrace you for the magnificent spiritual beings you are, with different abilities and wisdom and knowledge. And like by standing together and learning from each other peacefully, with love, and also show compassion, we will move forward. I'm very positive that we're going to get through this. And once we're on the other side, hey, life will be better. So I want to thank you. I just want to close with a saying by Mahatma Gandhi. And it says, be the change you wish to see in this world. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sibylla. When something's broken down, corrupted, or contaminated, as men and women and societies, we build something new and improved, don't we? Well, that's what we're doing right now, folks. We're building something new and improved, a new and improved society. Our next two speakers are part of the building crew for a better way of doing things, a new way of living together in community. Darren, I got two Darrens coming up. I have not met them yet, but I hope they start making their way to the stage, please. Darren left Vernon. Our first Darren is going to speak about the Vernon Underground Classified. So that Darren can start making his way to the stage, please. Darren left Vernon in the mid-90s for SFU. He did 10 years of nursing and then became a full-time freedom fighter, going up against Big Pharma. All right, Darren, yeah. When his wife Katie became pregnant in 2019, Darren returned to Vernon to raise his family. After a rough year in lockdown with a newborn, they became involved in the freedom community and rallies at the start of 2021. All right. He looks forward to growing a lot of food for this community. Anybody need food? Like every day, 3 times a day? This is a very important thing that we need to produce for ourselves. Please welcome Darren. Oh, he's going to be producing food at our local garden next spring, so that's more exciting information coming soon. Please welcome Darren. He's going to speak to us about Vernon Underground Classifieds. All right.
Thanks very much, Jackie. I brought notes because I don't speak in front of people very well, but I am very honored to be welcomed in this remarkable community. And before I start, I want to suggest a round of applause again to recognize Heather and everyone else that's been involved this past year. Thank you. Yeah, I lived in Vernon in my teens, and I went to Cal and then VSS for EarthQuest, and then I can't really see with these glasses on. and then up to the college, then down to SFU to study biology, and then I did nursing at Douglas, and I specialized in psychiatry and extended elderly care, and I loved nursing. But in 2006, I was pressured into taking the avian flu vaccine under similar circumstances, now facing the nurses with the COVID not vaccines, injections. I was very sick for a couple of weeks, and I did go back to work, and I wasn't very awake at the time. I was in the process of waking up back then, but I went back to work, and I thought nothing of it. I didn't really associate the sickness with the vaccine, even though it was right afterward, and a lot of other people were getting sick. But I was researching history, real history, free markets and sound money, how the big pharmaceutical industry worked, and so on. And in 2009, the swine flu vaccine scam was in full swing, and so I walked away from my 10-year career. But there wasn't anyone else doing that back then, so it was just me. But so I stand with the nurses that are walking, and the doctors and other healthcare professionals that are walking away right now. Absolutely. Thank you to them. And I'm just going off script a bit, but I'm upset that they're not allowed to call themselves doctors and nurses. I realize they've been fired, but I don't think that their registrations have been revoked. So in my opinion, they still are doctors and nurses, and they haven't had their education taken from them. But anyway, that's an aside. I decided to ramp up my side business in online collectibles, and then I met my wife, Katie, a childhood cancer survivor, and together we discovered the healing potential of the cannabis plant, something that has been hidden from the people and prohibited for a century by Big Pharma and government. We predicted Trudeau's legalization was a scam, nothing more than a takeover to form a corporate monopoly on the plant, a $1 trillion industry backed by violence. We fought against legalization, advocating instead for decriminalization, which is the end of unjust and harmful prohibition laws, both on social media and in the streets of downtown Vancouver. When I moved back to Vernon to have my family, and the lockdowns, mandates, and passports collapsed the economy and divided the society, Katie and I again dedicated ourselves to standing up for freedom against tyranny and against Big Pharma. We won't be masked, and we won't be injected, and neither will our baby or our baby-to-be coming soon. And I stand for individual liberty, community, and society through voluntary association, free markets, love, and peace. And to further some of those ideals and help the community advance and overcome barriers like passports, lockdowns, and these supply chain disruptions we keep hearing about, I publish a free weekly WAN ads called the Vernon Underground Classifieds. They're distributed on Saturdays at the rallies and other relevant meetings. Just to read from it, it says, a grassroots listing of goods and services in our freedom community. Are you actively seeking a particular good or service? Do you have something to trade, give away, or sell? Currently, we have various items available, some offers to work, people seeking connections or relationships, job offers, medical services, vehicle repairs, tutoring, even rental accommodations, and it's going to be expanding obviously as we go. And it's small now, but it's growing every week, and the more of us that use it, the more effective it will be. So please consider adding your own entry. To get started, speak to me or email us at the address on the sheet, which is vernonundergroundclassifieds@protonmail.com. Thank you very much for your attention and for being here. Happy 1 year, everybody.
All right, thanks, Darren. What do you think about that creativity? This is how we're going to build it back better, guys. Build it back better. I take that away, pretend I didn't say that. You know, okay, so that's enough of that. We got to create something new, something much better, and it's going to come from the ground roots up, just like this Stand Up Vernon, larger community than Vernon, much larger. Our next speaker is also contributing to this. Hey, by the way, along the classified idea, Tracy, can you put your hand up here? This young lady, beautiful young lady here, she's going to be if you know of a business, Heather mentioned a few of them today. If you know of a business that is honoring people coming in as normal, what do they say, naked face or something? That was the line I heard earlier. Naked face shopping. If you know of businesses that are honoring everybody, come and tell Tracy, because she's going to collect a list and make it available to people so we know where we can shop and what businesses to support. So, our next speaker is also Darren. Darren's been a truth activist for over 20 years. He ran in 2 federal elections. He's more optimistic that we are going to win this battle now more than ever before. Isn't that cool? You know, things have to break down before they build back up, right? We got to break these systems down, and that can be a little messy. He's going to speak to us about the superhero campaign that he's been spearheading. So, Darren, we welcome you up to the stage here. Talk. Oh, here he comes. I wonder which one he is. All right. Woo!
Hello, everybody. Fellow Truth Warriors. Okay, so we're in an info war, right? And we're all info warriors.
Just step into it rather than pull it.
Okay. So we had the idea that we have the druthers and we have the common ground, and I was wondering, like, how many of these are the old copies are just lying around? Because it would just be a shame. They're such powerful truth bombs. And then so we had the idea to do something fun, a fun project, dress up as superheroes, and then go door to door and deliver these papers. So I put the word around to see how many, and I got 3,000 old papers already. So we're gonna deliver those door to door, and I'm going to be my Batman costume, and we got another Batman, so if anyone else wants to participate. And then, so what we're looking for is we're going to do video. So we already got our first video, so we're wheeling around doing that, and then we're getting videos of it, and then we want you guys to make it go viral. So, so we want you to put it on social media, and all your friends, and we'll try to make it go viral, and then we'll try to get some hype going, and maybe we'll create some interest, and people will come out, read the paper that we deliver, because we're probably going to have about 4,000 to 5,000 of these papers on 4,000 to 5,000 doors, and it runs from Heather gave us 1,000 beautiful Vaccine Choice Canada brochures too, so we're going to put that on there as well. So, And then if you're part of Vernon United, or you're part of Stand Up Vernon, I think that they're going to get the videos going around too. So like I said, just get it going viral. Get it going viral for us, and try to get some hype going and get it rocking. We also have another group called North Okanagan Shuswap Unite Seize Your Power on Liberty. How many people know about Liberty here? It's Canada. 2 young guys started at social media, and So we have a group on there called North Okanagan Shuswap Unite Seize Your Power, and then the Batman Project is also on Liberty. So if Liberty spelled kind of weird, so if anybody wants, I have information cards here. So if you want to stay in tune with the project, or if you want to get on Liberty and get involved, you can come and get a card from me. Little cards, okay? Great, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Darren. There's another person building from the bottom up with a superhero. I mean, every one of us is alive. That means you're breathing, and that means you got the creative spirit in you. Awaken that. Give it some time. Honor yourself. What is moving within you on how you can contribute? Like, who would have thought about walking around in a Batman costume handing out druthers? I mean, I wouldn't have. But Darren did, and you're going to think of something else. So our final speakers, 2 people, Jan Sutherland and Roland Peltier, are going to come up here, and they're going to do a little exercise with us on breath work, on self-empowerment, on this love and this what we've been talking about all day in one form or another. Jan Sutherland is a naturopathic doctor in Armstrong at Pure Roots Integrative Health. Her focus is nervous system regulation and trauma release through breathwork therapy in group sessions or individual classes, or group classes or individual sessions. She's found breathwork to be one of the most powerful transformative tools for life. And if you'd like to know more about it, you can come and talk to Jan afterwards. Roland Peltier is a certified massage professional, and he's been practicing intuitive massage for 25 years. He's passionate about sharing his knowledge of permaculture. Again, we're back to food, back to sustainable, new practices, new ways of doing it together, of living together on the planet, in community, supporting and celebrating each other. Roland spent 8 years putting aquaponics systems in local schools and teaching students about how cooperative systems in nature thrive. A cooperative system in nature? You mean like Stand Up Vernon? Is that the kind of thing you mean? All right. He's a father and an eternal optimist. He's currently training as a breathwork facilitator and has ambitions to build intentional communities. That sounds interesting too. All right, please join me in welcoming Roland and Jan up to the stage. Woo!
Hello. Thank you for coming out, everybody. My name is Roland, and this is Jan. We're going to do some breathing with you. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I'm just going to mention a few things that I think are important I want to bring to everyone's attention. And that is, like, there's a lot of influence around us from media. You've seen it. The brainwashed people that drive by and give us the finger, it's just because they're watching TV and they believe what they've been told. So we're sending them love, and that's what we need to do. We need to have patience and tolerance for these people because, you know, they're our brothers and sisters. We've been split up by this whole thing. The main thing I wanted to talk about here is a tiny bit of quantum physics. Can we go that deep? Just for a second, okay? So if we were to take a quantum microscope and we could look at, let's say, the most dense object that we have, diamonds, okay? We could blow it up. We could see past the molecular level down to the atomic level, okay? If we could blow that up so that one of those atoms was the size of an orange, like my fist, okay? The next atom would be a football field away. Okay, so what is in between that? And that's the most dense thing that we have here on Earth. Well, we're a lot less dense than that, so that must mean there's a lot more distance between our atoms. So what is in between us? It's empty space, it's consciousness, and that's what we are. I just wanted to remind everybody, because I have to remind myself on a daily basis, that we are source energy in these human bodies, and we are way more powerful than what we think. And having said that, it is what we think. Okay, thank you very much. There's some people here that realize that what we think about, we bring about. Okay, so we have to be very careful what rabbit holes we might go down, okay, on the internet or whatever, because whatever we're looking for, we're going to find evidence of it. That's just how the universe works. So stay positive, don't watch the television, and care about how we feel. I think that's really the bottom line. What we think about, we bring about. So just remind yourselves that on a daily basis. I've been doing this deep breathing that Jan introduced me to, and I've been doing it on a daily basis, and I'm up to about 40 minutes every day, and it's amazing. I really have been caring more about how my health and everything else. I quit drinking alcohol almost a year ago, and I've been really just caring about how I feel. And this is just one thing that's been really helping is this breath work. And I am encouraging all of you to do this because it helps you to tap in to that source energy that we are, which is very empowering. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Hello. Oh, okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, awesome. All right, everyone, this is my favorite thing to do, is breathe. It's my passion, and I'm really happy to share it with you today. So when we when we are holding on to fear, we don't fully exhale. And when we're holding on to anger, we don't fully inhale. And so there's been a lot of that on an individual level and a global level. And so what we do have control of is our breath and our internal state and caring about how we feel. And so when we talk about the quantum mechanics of this, when we breathe in new oxygen and new energy, this air that comes into our bodies, which are mostly water, the air comes in and just like the wind changes the vibration of the ocean or the lake, the way that we breathe can actually literally change the vibration in our bodies. And the stretch receptors in the lungs and the peptides that are created travel to our brain and travel to our organs and literally change what's going on physiologically and change our thoughts and our emotions. And so we're human. There's time for fear and anger, absolutely. And then there's time to go, wait a minute, okay, let's relax and let's really embrace what's good here, and looking around at all the trees and this beautiful planet that we're on and really enjoying our time here. And so the energy of this breathing technique that I want to show you is really embracing and receiving. So it's enjoying the fullness of the inhale. And so I want to just invite you all to join me. And Roland's going to help a little bit. If anyone's having trouble, just put your hand up and Roland will come and help. But it's very straightforward. And you can stay standing. If you are comfortable, you can stay sitting. I'm going to suggest that if this is your first time doing breath work, to make sure you're nice and grounded. We should all just really feel our feet. Feel the connection to Mother Earth and imagine roots growing down into the ground from our feet. And if you're feeling if you have, for example, like high blood pressure, or you're feeling a little uneasy, the balloons are really excited about this. They're like, yes, let's do it. You might want to sit down, just in case. You might feel a little lightheaded. So if you have a place to sit. But you're going to be fine. I'm going to teach you in a very grounded way. When we do groups and individual sessions, sometimes we get into a really intense and activated breath. But this breathing technique is not as intense as Wim Hof, so it's not quite that yang, but it's more activated than like a passive meditation, okay? So we're going to do about 5 minutes or so, and I'll guide you into the fullness and allowing yourself to embrace all that you are, whether there's emotion there, whether there's sensation. We're going to really honor the wisdom in the body. So we do a lot of thinking and planning and doing, and this is all left brain activity. The right brain activity has to do with emotion and sensation and has no concept of time and is just very curious and very compassionate. So we're going to let go of the judgmental left brain just for a little bit. We can pick it up later. And we're going to go into the magic and the wisdom and the beauty of our bodies. And this is all about the right brain. Okay? Does that sound good? Okay. So, feeling your feet. And just enjoying the fullness of your inhale. You can put a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart. And see if you can feel the inhale and feel your hands kind of expanding as you breathe into your belly and breathe into your heart. You can breathe in through your nose or your mouth, whatever feels best for you. This is your process. You can close your eyes or you can keep your eyes open, whatever feels good for you. So really embracing the inhale, feeling the fullness into your belly, into your heart. And then as you exhale, let it go like a sigh. There's nothing to do about the exhale. This is where we surrender and we trust the body. You can also use hand movements if you like. This is kind of a nice way to visualize. It's like a fountain of water shooting up from the ground. This is the inhale. It takes some effort and energy. So the water droplets just fall with gravity. There's nothing to do. You don't have to push them down. They're not going to hang out like this and go down slow. They just fall with gravity. Find your own pace. Hand on your belly, hand on your heart, arms moving, or just hands by your sides, whatever feels good for you. Go at a pace that feels enlivening but manageable. So embracing here. The inhale, embracing what are we receiving. When you imagine the most perfect life and situation, what is it that you're feeling? Is it more joy, more connection, more love? Keep following your breath. I'm just going to keep guiding you here for a few minutes. Keep following the breath into your belly, into your heart, at a pace that feels right for you. Yawning's a good sign. It means your parasympathetic state in the nervous system. It's shifting from sympathetic overdrive, go, 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 to a parasympathetic. This is where the love is. This is where the rest and the digestion. This is where we find peace, wholeness, love. Keep going if you can. Keep going. It feels really good. You might feel tingles, sensation in your hands. This is your life force energy. This is what connects us all. It's what keeps the grass growing, the trees growing. Neural pathways from the heart are being activated now as you breathe in this way up to the mind, so that our heart is leading us instead of our mind telling us what to do and telling our body what to do. Allow the wisdom of the body to lead the way. It feels good to just receive this new oxygen, new energy. Whatever is not serving just naturally goes. And if you're feeling some emotion, please allow that to be here. We're all human and it's part of our experience. Allow any tears, allow any anger, grief to just go. You don't have to push it out. It's just going to happen as you continue to bring in new. Is anyone feeling good? Yeah? Okay, good. I can see a lot of people are really enjoying this. And some of you are just kind of taking it easy. That's cool. If you imagine a beautiful boundary of light around your body and make it as big as you need to allow any emotions. Emotions are just stuck energy, and our nervous system really holds on to emotion. And so when we breathe in this way, we give our bodies and our nervous systems the opportunity. We say, this breath literally tells the nervous system we're safe. And the nervous system says, thank you. I've been hanging on to this and I need to cry a little bit, or whatever it is. Maybe I need to laugh a little bit. Okay? So within this boundary of light, all around you and all around us and all around the whole planet, give yourself as much space as you need to feel, and come back to the inhale, come back to receiving. Feeling gratitude. Thank you so much for doing this with us today, and I encourage you to keep practicing if you can every day. Every day, if you do this, transformative possibilities are right here
inside of us. And this is where it starts, like in between the oranges, all of this space, okay? And this is how we embrace all that we truly are and all that we're truly capable of manifesting and creating together. And it's such an honor to co-create with you. And just come and talk to me after if you have any more questions. My next online session is on Saturday. If you want to join, I'd love to see your faces. And soon we'll be back to groups in person when we have a good location to do that. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Stay free.
All right, thanks so much, Jan and Roland. We're talking about building community, talking about Stand Up Vernon and how Stand Up Vernon is a community, not a physical location. It's for all freedom people. It's for like-minded people that want to build something new. This song is called Canada Rising, and that's who we are. We are the new Canada Rising. I wrote this song for Ted Kuntz when he came up with this idea of freedom rising that started off with Canada Rising, and it almost immediately, within 1 week, it expanded to Freedom Rising. And Freedom Rising is a movement that's going across the world. But right here in the Okanagan, we are Canada Rising. We are Canada Rising, the true north. You can't even hear my guitar, can you? No. Sorry, I gotta get it readjusted. Oh, no, that's my fault. It's okay, no problem. There we go. Okay, that's better. We are Canada Rising, the true north, strong and free. This is a land of opportunity for brotherhood and liberty. Every man and woman has the right to their own choice, to form their own opinion, the right to use their voice, to stand for truth and justice, to express their own minds. Free will is essential for us to be kind. We are Canada Rising, the true north, strong and free. This is a land of opportunity for brotherhood and liberty. Who are they that claim to know what's best for you and me? What's a legal fiction? Are you truly free? Does it obfuscate, obliterate, and take your rights at birth? Does the law protect what your soul is worth? We are Canada Rising, the true north, strong and free. This is a land of opportunity for brotherhood and liberty. The strength of human spirit comes from love and not from force. Morality's our compass, a gift from source. Censorship removes us from responsibility. Here we stand on guard for liberty. We are Canada Rising, the true north, strong and free. This is a land of opportunity for brotherhood and liberty. This is a land of opportunity for brotherhood and liberty. All right. Woohoo! Thank you, Renee. So, for those of us that are left, if the volunteers and the speakers would like to come up on stage and join us, we're just going to do a little sing out here to a song called This Little Light of Mine. Maybe you know it because I'm going to need some help singing this one. It's a tricky one. But we really want to give a lot of thanks to all our speakers, to the two Darrens, to Sibylla, to Jan and Roland, to Heather, to Bobby, to everyone who came, took a little time out of their lives to share with us what they're doing and how freedom is rising in Canada, how we are building a new society, a new way of doing things here in Vernon with Stand Up Vernon. All right. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, we're gonna let it shine. Everywhere we go, we're gonna let it shine. Everywhere we go, we're gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time. Let it shine all the time. Woo! Stand Up Vernon. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you next week for the Worldwide Rally with Ted Kuntz, John Carpe, Priscilla, Sherry, and some little toddlers coming up here to tell how horrible their life has been with the masks and lockdowns. So we got to support them.
I just want to say again, thank you. And if we could just make sure that we take all of our garbage with us. And there's a garbage can over there that I'll take everything with us. And thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you. And I said Sunday, but it's Saturday. November 20th, Saturday. If you're on my email list, you'll get the email. Thanks.